What's up, everybody? Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. So I'm doing this little bit of a deck intro after we've run through the event. This is like the morning after the challenge. I realized I didn't have a breakdown of the deck for the video, so I wanted to make sure I included that. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a cool video. Nice little top 8 in the challenge. Got all the matches for you. Made sure to cut out all the dead time between rounds, so you don't have to worry about that. But let's jump into the list so you know what's going on when we get started with the rest of these matchups, and you can see how they went. So first off, big shout out to the BFG, Big Friendly Gamer on Twitch. They had the original list that they won a challenge with 2 days ago. Someone else ran back like 67 or so of their 75 and won the second challenge on Wednesday. And then we ran through a top 8 challenge last night. Some of the changes that I made are where BFG had 4 copies of Thought Scour. I swapped those to 2 copies of Preordain and 2 copies of Tamiyo. I really like having Tamiyo as like a board presence, as well as the potential for flipping and being an ultimate win condition later on down the road. Really good into any of the mid-range matchups, the slower matchups. A lot of mirror matches going on right now. Tamiyo is excellent into those. Preordain, a little more card filtering early. A little better ability to manipulate your draws, find exactly what you're looking for. The rest of the main deck, the Brain Surge, the 1-0 Brain Surge I played instead of the Sauron's Ransom. But the rest of the main deck, the same as BFG. Actually, I take that back. Lands. I changed a couple lands around. He ran 2 Gloomlake Verges. I swapped the second Verge for the Dark Slick Shores because of a change I made to the sideboard where I added these 3 Thought Seizes in. Dark Slick giving you untapped black mana on turn 1 is pretty important. And then with the addition of Brain Surge, I cut the 3rd island for a 9th fetch land to be able to shuffle away after a Brain Surge or find a Watery Grave for Thoughtseize a little more consistently. In the sideboard, 2 copies of Harbinger of the Seas, 1 Mystical Dispute, 4 Consign of Memory, 1 Toxic Deluge, 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Nihil Spellbomb. Nothing really crazy with the sideboard. It's a little geared towards big mana with the Thoughtseize, Consign of Memories, Harbingers, but you also have a pretty good time against the combo matchups with the Thoughtseize Surgical package. Nihil Spellbomb, just a little Grave Hate. If you want to run Nihils in the main, I think that's perfectly reasonable, but I didn't want to mess with the list too much. Some of the card choices that I'm not traditionally playing, the 3 copies of Subtlety. It's been a while since I thought Subtlety was in a really good spot. BFG was very adamant about Subtlety being an excellent answer to Solitude, so I wanted to give it a shot, see how it did. Spoiler alert, we did run into like 3 Solitude matchups, but I'll let those play out as they will. 4 Orcish Bowmaster, which not the most impactful creature in terms of interacting with other things on the board, but there are a decent amount of cantrips going on. I will, spoiler alert on Bowmaster, and say if I had to pick an MVP of the list for this event, probably Bowmaster, and you will 100% see why as the games go on. And then Tamiyo, I really do think overperformed. Like I said, having that board presence early, something that creates continual incremental value for you, is a really nice addition to have. I wouldn't fault anybody for playing a 3rd Tamiyo, but even just running 2, if I ever see the second one, I feel a little off-put. So 3 might be a little much. Either way, we'll go ahead and hop into the matches so you can see those play out live, see exactly what worked, what didn't work. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Catch you later. What list am I running? I'm running that one. Okay. Decent opening hand. Opponent reveals Kahira, so blue-white control. More than likely. I kind of hate that our first round is against actual factual blue-white control, if that's the case. Pretty horrible matchup if they're running Supreme Verdicts. I do want land drops. Like, I hate that it's a basic swamp instead of any blue source. But I don't want to just, like, throw back a land drop. This opponent's on point with the avatar. I mean, they called it. The Fairy Hero of Dominaria. No. The Fairy, actual, factual Hero of Dominaria. We had only heard about you in the myths. All right. Let's jam a Murktide. Good. 7 energy Wrath. Like, they're just going to tune again and then Wrath the Skies for 100 billion. Approximately. They're on Narset, Days Undoing. The great part about Days Undoing is if you cast this and your opponent responds with a Bowmaster, when it resolves, the turn just ends. So it doesn't actually matter if they get a bunch of Bowmaster triggers, they just never resolve because Days Undoing stops. Which is hilarious. Alright. We are going to attempt to hit you with a Murktide. And I'm going to hold off on this other Murktide in case of a Supreme Verdict or something, something similar. Opponent adds Kahira to their hand. Can't present lethal this turn, so we're just swinging in with Murk. I think I kind of want to just play out this frog so that I'm not done to like 1-for-1 removal. I probably don't need to. Like, if they've got a Wrath, they got a Wrath, but... Narset, Parter of Veins. resolves. Narset finds. Another Narset Parter avails. Fair. Now, I do need to play something pre-combat. I need to get this Murktide up to lethal. Fair enough. Okay. Actual factual blue-white control in the year of our Lord 2025. Just doing that. I can shoot the sheriff because it does kill a solitude. Spell bomb. They can't be on Snapcaster because of Kahira. Maybe like Memory Deluge. Yeah, Harbinger's probably fine, but I don't know if there's like anything I really want to cut for Harbinger. Everything's kind of good here. If they're on Rest in Peace, I might want to drop a Murktide. I could drop a Murktide anyway and just say I'm going to be a little less into like a big delve spell in case you've got Verdict or Solitude or Rest in Peace. I'm only scared of the white cards. Yeah, but the white cards are like Solitude that answers a Harbinger pretty well. So if I'm going to resolve a threat, do I want it to be a Harbinger or a Murktide? I think I'm just going to run like this and see how game 2 goes. And then I'll pivot if I feel I need to for game 3. But like they showed me Narset and Days Undoing, so I don't want to go like too heavy on this anti-white card plan when they do just have an all-blue lock you out combo. First time actually being able to catch a stream. Just wanted you to know your Dimir Shadow decks got me into Modern years ago. We tricked another one into joining the format. That's awesome. I hope you enjoyed the decks. I know they're not fantastically positioned at the moment. Please don't hold that against me. But I've never claimed to be a savant at knowing how the format's going to shape up. All right. Gonna hold up some interaction in case of it's a fairy here. Gyre Reach Sanitarium. So we fetch up our Undercity sewers. With the sewers on the stack, we're going to cast our Consider. It's got to be pretty good, right? Both of these are pretty solid. Show me what you are working with. Counterspell, prismatic ending, Solitude, Spell Snap.
So at the current moment, you have got one way to answer or resolve Murktide. And a whole bunch of counter spells. So I can go after the counter spells, and I would get to resolve my Murktide. I do have a subtlety, so I think I'm going to go that route. Ooh, handy. Gyre Reach, you are. Just discarding Tameo. And discards a pending. Opponent casted Big Teferi is totally that list. We saw Big Teferi game 1. They absolutely have Big Teferi in their deck. Three, 4, 5. Murktide. Now we do our best to protect this Murktide with everything that we have got. So I'm going to start with Counter Spell because I don't want this to resolve at all. Force of Negation. We have Double Snare. 2. Okay. Well, second snare pickup, pretty rough. I'm just going to flash this in and start attacking. No, at least at the moment that they've got a prismatic ending. No longer have a prismatic ending. Hold that. I guess I should have held the island for Gaia Reach. Okay. Why is subtlety good in the format right now? Seems amazing just trying to articulate. I mean, good is pretty subjective. With Black White Blink being like the best deck in the format, and your only real concern into that deck being Solitude, it is really good against specifically Solitude. Ailmert to a lesser extent. But yeah, like Bunny said, it is kind of mid against a lot of the rest of the format. But it's really good into your worst matchup. So. What can Black White do to have better game versus Subtlety? Run more ways to answer Subtlety. I wonder if that Tune the Narrative was an attempt to bait a Bowmasters. Or if they're just trying to get the energy. All right. Discard here. Bowmaster shoots you in the face. Yeah, Aether Ball is pretty good into subtlety. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I know one of their cards is Kahira. Doesn't really matter if I counter this or not. Like, if I don't go for this, they're going to be able to... I guess if they're going Narset Days Undoing, what is this? Hardcast Solitude. Okay. I'll trade the army off for the Solitude. Attempt to. I do think I have to play out the Frog here. I know one of their last two cards is Kahira. Try to put them on a dead draw. Oh no, they discarded Kahira. Never mind, I don't know the last card, and this could punish me. Yep. Finding another Narset. So I have to go Frog at the Narset, Bowmaster at them. Discard both to the Frog because I needed to kill the Narset to be able to draw a card off of it. Pretty good draw. NGL. All right, I'll let the Narset go because it's not actually killing me. 9 out of 10 would draw again. Wrath the Skies. One of your blind draws a counter spell. Yes. Well, that does nothing right here. We used to always joke that if you're gonna play blue-white and win games, you better draw pretty hot. So I can't draw off that. I just get to surveil. Okay. Second snare. That second snare wrecked our lives. I don't think I want to board in surgical. Harbinger might be a little better. Maybe I just want to drop a Merc for a Harbinger. Still think everything else is kind of decent. Maybe shoot the Sheriff is mid. Guess I'm only really worried about hard cast Solitude. Could go the surgical plan. You know what? Let's do it. I believe. Pretty good hand. Especially if they don't have the turn 1 pending for this Tameo. That looks like not a turn 1 pending. Gonna pass here with Bowmasters. I'm trying to, I think, bait a counter spell here on the Bowmasters so I can untap, flip the Tameo, maybe have subtlety for a Narset. Just snared. But I think I do just want to flip this Tameo. Got like a pretty good chance of finding a Force of Negation. Sanguine, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome afternoon. Evening. All right. Sanguine coming in with a tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the subscribers. I think I want a Murktide. I know I want to force more, but the odds of hitting a force are pretty low right here, so I think I'm just taking the Merc. Pick up Tameo. There you go. See if I can aggressively subtlety something here. Maybe opponent's just missing their land drops. Dang. All right. Pick up Tameo. They were definitely playing out something. I'm really tempted to play out Murktide just as like the toughest thing for you to answer right here. That way it plays a little bit better into them having like I guess Solitude's kind of whatever. They're out of Frog. Say go. If you're pending this, then you're not pending on the Tameo, and that's kind of a win for me. Dude, these Orm's chants. Never mind. Orm's chant's fine. I don't even care about Orm's chant. Orm's who? What a godly top deck. I agree. I didn't mention that's what we were looking for, so. All right. Go ahead and get an Undercity. We're trying to find a counter spell. All right. Option number one. We pick up Tameo, go for ult next turn. Could be rough if they have a Narset that they're just sitting around on. Option number two, we go for Force of Negation, play out another Frog. I lose out on going for Tameo ult anytime soon. I could go like Tameo. I don't think I'm playing out both Frogs. I don't hate playing out one though. Worst case scenario would be Wrath the Skies, take out my Frogs, land Narset. Wrath doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but if they have the Narset and just get to stop the Tameo ult, then. Yeah, I think I'm playing it safe here. I'm a coward. Zeriok coming in with the sub. Thank you so much. Welcome to the subscribers as well. Hopefully you came in at a good time. You got it. Got the Wrath. I get to hold on to my Frog. Or my backup Frog. Well, I mean, going for ult there would have won us the game, but not always how it works out. All right, hit you in the face with the frog. I could get back, preordain, and bounce this Kahira. I think I'd rather just bounce it right now. Pass. Have ult up next turn. Kahira, unknown, unknown. Wrap the skies. They can't Kahira after this. I think this is a bait. I think I just ignore this in case they have a prismatic ending afterwards. Or like a Narset. I guess they can play Kahira. They have green, don't they? Okay. Well, I would like to draw 18 cards. What say you? Or they kept a card on top with their Surveil. I found a Murktide. I found a Counterspell. So let's Thoughtseize. See if we can clear the way. Cool. I've got 1, 2, 3 instants and sorceries in the yard. I've got counter spells. I got a counter spell, I guess. Or I think I'm just keeping like anything that says counter. Other consider is to make sure I get up to Murktide being an 8/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go. I like our position. I'm not casting anything until you show me you can deal with this Murktide. Take it. I guess I can Thoughtseize just to go ahead and make you use this because I have double counter spell. 1. Did I see Eyeballless Merc won the challenge yesterday? Eyeballless Merc won 2 challenges yesterday. It was like 67 or so of the same 75. Ran it back with a different player and won second challenge. Dogfish is round 1. Let's see. It's just asking about the matchup. It's good questions. Like asking about if Purge is good, Celestial Purge. Asking if Celestial Purge is good, talking about some sideboarding options, like they think they made a mistake. Taking out a pending. Cool opponent. Love to play first. Last seen 5 days ago, white, blue, green. Blue, green, white. I swear if I just rolled like the back-to-back blue-white control players. Bant Energy. Birthing Ritual, Ewit. All I'm saying is I watched the recording of BFG's run through the challenge yesterday, and he was seeing black-white. He was seeing normal stuff. If I get energy, or if I get yeah, it's basically just splashing for Mockingbird. One of Mockingbird. Don't know. Oh, never mind. Different deck. Everything I thought I knew has gone out the window. More than one blue-white control player? Apparently. They've doubled. What is the necessary amount of counter spells to what is the comfortable amount of counter spells to run main? I think necessary is like, if you're talking counters in general, not specifically the card counter spell, but just things that have the effect of countering something, then I'm a pretty firm believer in like 7 being the minimal, or like the number you need to feel pretty comfortable if you have a deck that's seeing a reasonable amount of cards. If you're talking about specifically the card Counterspell, and if you want somewhere between 0 and 4, I'm a big 4 Counterspell believer, but I know there are plenty of people that are not in the same camp. I'm going to sit back on considering Bowmaster here. Like, I think Counterspell, actual factual Counterspell, being able to close the door on a lot of games is a very big deal. So I'm very hesitant when I start seeing a bunch of lists that are like, cut down on Counterspells, run like 0 actual Counterspells. But if we're talking all counter magic altogether, I could get through most games on like 4 Counterspell and 3 Force and not feel awful about it. It does technically answer an Oculus. Not my preferred way of answering an Oculus. They could have a Force of Negation. I can also have a Force on their turn. I'm going to bottom this. Heck yeah. Rewarded. That's what we call that. Rewarded. I'm just going for a bunch of Bowmasters here. I believe that a lot of Dimir lists have to play an effect that hard counters, but Counterspell is not the dream card for the job. So you want them to hard counter stuff, but not Counterspell. Here. My filter, sure. Carry on. I believe that a lot of Dimir lists have to play an effect that hard counters, but Counterspell is not the dream card for the job. Essentially just got power crept by the rest of the format. So weird to think about actual factual Counterspell getting power crept when we just got it like 2 sets ago. Masters sets. Got a frog, sure. So I know they've got an Oculus. Is their last card another Unearth? It is. Okay. Most favorite play in Magic. The Bowmaster ping itself to get Revolt to Fatal Push the Oculus. You gotta do what you gotta do out here in the streets. All right. Sorry, opponent. Really good at drawing good Magic the Gathering cards, apparently. Hear me out. Brainstorm in Modern. If Brainstorm were legal in Modern, you would never see me play a non-Brainstorm Tamiyo deck again. Period. Like, it could be Shadow, it could be Oculus, I don't know, but it would never be a non-Brainstorm deck. Period. Opponent is resolving a subtlety. I am going to start with a consider. I'm going to keep that on top. If they end up blocking a frog, I'll just like discard both into that. But if they do like this and don't block the frog, then I like having Preordain here. I guess. I don't know. I'm just clicking buttons at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's Murktide. When I play Murktide and kill Subtlety, I don't know, or play Bowmaster and kill Subtlety, I feel like this line's kind of okay. It's like, don't really care about this Subtlety, so I think I would rather just hold up the Bowmaster for something else during combat. Because again, I just don't care about the Subtlety. It's not doing anything. I don't need to waste a card on it. Like, they've got to deal with my frogs, which means throwing the Subtlety in front of a frog at some point. So, like, I'm going to get the Subtlety out of the way. I just don't need to do it right now. I don't care about it right now. All right. I was having this issue earlier when I was looking through the deck where, like, I've got a reasonable amount of stuff I can bring in. There's not that much I want to cut here. Like, I can trim on some counters. I could trim or cut all of my forces. Subtlety's okay against a hard cast threat. It's not really great against the rest. Or Esper, Harbinger good. Maybe on the play. I don't think I want Harbinger on the draw. I don't want my opponent like resolving a Ketchermost or something on 3 and I'm sitting here looking at Harbinger in hand. Meticulous Archive. Meet Meticulous Tamiyo. All right, let's go to combat and see if we can get them to like discard some stuff to the frog and maybe want to try to block. Then I think I'm going for the fatal push on their upkeep. I could go for it now. Yeah, going their upkeep. Kind of free to do to play around like fourth. And I kind of hope they go for a counter spell. Yeah. Then the only way I get like super punished is if they have discard Oculus plus unearth like right there and land. It's on top. Land is good. I don't mind just jamming a frog here, but at the same time, I don't think I need to. And sit back a little bit. Kind of rude. Kind of rude, dude. Kind of rude. Kind of interested to see if Orcish Bowmaster is good into a Ketramos. Well, I know BFG was really high on Bowmaster into Ketramos. Part of me wants to counterspell this so bad. Because this is like, clearly I don't have a land. Alright, we are flipping this Tameo one way or another here. Seems good. Seems good. Go. Frog plus Orcish Bowmaster versus God is cute. That's true. Hit them with like that frog, exile a bunch on their upkeep. Draw one. Bowmaster you for one. Draw another. Bowmaster you for another. Draw one. Bowmaster you. And then you hit them with the Archmage's Charm. You draw two. Big brain magic right there. All right. So, as somebody who's played a good bit of Dimir and Esper, very few ways of dealing with a Tameo once it's flipped. Tomato not clicking anything. Love to play first and fix that. This is kind of what I was afraid of when I mentioned before the league started about Gloom Lake and a whole bunch of non-islands. Man, I think I'm shipping this. Like, my best draws are Frog that I can't cast, need another land. We'll see if I end up regretting it. I'm regretting it. I'm very, very much regretting it. Leyline Axe. So hammer time. The double fatal push. Bowmaster opener looking much better. Could be okay if we get to like force negation of Sigarda's aid or something. We do have a Murktide on top. Mim Knight. Okay. Well, I like seeing this. Turn one, nothing. Why is this only 3 to equip? I feel like this should be like 5. +1/+1, double strike and trample. Maybe I'm just thinking of it in shadow terms. Like a free battle rage. Has anybody built a black-white Shadow Blade list with Leyline Axe yet? I'm kind of imagining like a shadow with like Apostle's Blessing and stuff to play out a shadow, protect it, untap, equip an axe in one shot. Very well could just be too janky. Okay. I need to decide if it's worth going for Sink into Stupor on the Leyline Axe. Might as well make it Esper and add Frog. You know, not all of life's problems can be solved with adding Frog. I'm going to go for Bounce the Axe. It could let me just play a Murktide this upcoming turn. Or maybe they've got like the protection spell in hand. Here's my Murktide. Yep. Take a dude. Dude. Get what? How many Murktide do you think you've cast total? Like, in general? I'm not sure. That's a Vortex Shadow. That's a big number. All right, so this is attack in. I block. They animate the Ink Moth and trade off the token for the Murktide, which obviously I don't love, but I wonder if I have to. Otherwise, my best draw is a Fatal Push. I think I'm just like never winning this game if I give up my Murktide here. Yeah. All right. I believe we've got any outs here. I was thinking about that today with how many snaps I've cast. Paper Online's got to be around 10,000. I don't even know how I would begin to like count that. I guess it's kind of cool that we've come full circle and Hammer Time's playable again. Less fortunate that it's this round. What's in the board for this matchup? I mean, I wasn't exactly coming prepared for Hammer Time, but realistically, Deluge, Harbingers, Consigns, maybe Thoughtseize. Opponent is either trying to figure out how bad of a shape they're in, if I've got a Fatal Push, or they're lagging. What I need here is for them to go fetch, go to play like a 2-drop. I counter spell. They attack with both of their constructs to get the damage in, block the 5/5, untap, find a fatal push. For their stream sniping, could be. I kind of wonder, like, I know that I put TTV in my username, so if somebody decides to stream snipe, so be it. I'm basically asking for it by saying that I'm on Twitch in my username. That being said, I've also got the Daybreak on there, so I kind of wonder if that would dissuade people or if they just wouldn't care if they were planning to. Game is going along great until this spot. At least they watch ads for you. Stream snipe me, but I got that 12 cents in ad revenue. Who's the real winner? Maybe their internet service provider is upset with them. There you go. So I block here and blow them out ridiculously when I have this fatal push. We've scared them. All right, we'll give you this one. Signs coming in, Harbingers coming in. Deluge will come in. Then I'm going to decide about Thoughtseize. Not 100% sure yet. Subtlety seems kind of mid. Brain Surge probably slow. Cameo's not great. Counter spells pretty clunky. I kind of want the Thoughtseizes. I'm going to do something like this. What happens when you consign the trigger of a saga? Which trigger? If you consign the first chapter trigger, they can't make mana with their saga. If you consign the second one, they can't make constructs. If you consign the third one, they can't tutor up a artifact with CMC or with mana value 1 or 0. So it really depends on like what the problem is in that situation. If the problem is them making constructs, then consign the second chapter. If the problem is them getting a hammer, then consign the third. didn't know if the counter didn't go on either. Yeah, the counter goes on as part of the, not the cost, but to trigger the ability, like the chapter automatically kicks up on your main phase. And that's what causes the trigger to go onto the stack of them getting the next chapter ability. Okay. It's a little opening hand. I think I'm going to get basic Swamp off of this Polluted Delta, since I do have Harbinger in the deck. I can still play a Frog on 2, take a little bit less damage not having to shock. Move it up, go to game 3. Box Opal, Colossus Hammer, Midnight, Battlefield Improvisation. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If that creature is attacking, you may attach any number of equipment you control to it. So if I take that, they go turn 1, land, Mox, Midnight, Hammer. Could take the Nettle Cyst. Since they have to Battlefield Improv on their turn. And it does target, so I could Fatal Push. I think I am going to take the Nettle Cyst. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, it's like a 5/5. I don't know if I can just beat Nettle Cyst value here. Memnite down. Colossus Hammer down. Plains down. Down. I think the only way I get like severely punished, and I know I'm going to regret saying it as soon as I do, is if their 2 unknown draws are like another hammer. Don't make me say this. Don't make me say this. Waiting, I refuse to say it just yet. I was going to say Hammer Pure Steel Paladin. I was going to say it. I knew it. Every fiber of my being knew Hammer Pure Steel Paladin. Where were you? Guess we should have forced negation the hammer. I mean, if we force negation the hammer, they're still attacking with a big Memnite. They still have a lethal frog or lethal Memnite and Ink Moth the turn after. Like, it's just kind of splitting hairs. If this isn't the pure steel, if this is the battlefield improvisation instead, like we win on the spot, it had to be pure steel. And I think there's a very reasonable case that I could have made the inference that they likely top decked a pure steel paladin game one by the fact that they played the basic planes. If they had played the Ink Moth turn one, then I wouldn't think that they top decked a pure steel. But because they played the basic planes, I think the odds are a little bit higher that they had top decked something that required a lot of white mana, pure steel paladin. Now, knowing they top decked pure steel paladin doesn't really mean I can do anything about them having pure steel paladin. If I made the guess that that's what they top decked, then I don't play the frog. I hold up fatal push, force. They go Ink Moth, Mox, or they have Mox. And do what? Play Paladin. Like, they still get to play Paladin, equip a hammer to a frog, or to a Memnite. And I still think I have to fatal push the pure steel Paladin there. I can force the second hammer, but they still have Memnite with a hammer hitting me for 11. They don't have a pure steel anymore. I don't know what their current list is looking like. I don't love this hand. Oh, not Storm. Never mind, it got a lot better. This is just Breach. Neoform. Oh god. Oh, we're toast. Never mind. Please don't counterspell my frog. I would cry. Step 1, Allosaurus Rider. Step 2, you beat Force Negation. Yay! Neoform! Oh, my game 1 went 2. I mean, that's usually about how it goes against Neoform. It's just counter check dot deck. Subtlety seems kind of funny. Just get to subtlety back a rider. Maybe I don't want Harbinger as much on the draw. I do need to look up if I don't know if Neobrand's still on like the whole endurance loop thing. No, maybe. So I could potentially bring in surgical, or not surgical, spell bomb to try to hit something relevant, but I don't think I'm going to. What does surgical do against them? Pairs very well with thought seize. That's what. And it's something I would rather have in the deck than like fatal push. Keep. Mulligan, we kept our 7. What I heard is it's the best worst card, pretty much. Like, none of these things are particularly thrilling, but this is slightly more less thrilling than the other one. I'll roll with it. Is this the 6 mana elf? Nice. They're gonna respond with combo off. I guess this is just a actable land drop if they need it. Comes into play untapped. I really need more frogs. Doesn't it gain a bunch of life too? It doesn't gain life. Or no, it does gain, but you draw cards when it enters and you sack something else. But I'm gonna be very hard pressed to see them ever have this enter. Maybe I should have thought seized last turn. Kind of interested in just getting Bowmasters down here. You could also have Veil of Summer. Summoner's Pact. Get the Disciple. Okay. Pass the Rider. Yep. Have the Pact. All right. I point these 7 at the Gristle brand. Yay. Oh boy. I mentioned back when this challenge started that Boros Burn players terrify me. And I'm talking to people that like dedicate their entire existence to Boros Burn, because these people have played through like Uro metas and Oko metas, now Flage metas. They clearly just have all the mental fortitude in the world. And it's scary. Look at this. Look at this. Just burn, burn, burn. Ah. That's a lizard. I would like to find another land. Nice. What is this? Clearly burn. There's a vine lasher. That's not burn. I don't know what is. Been watching for a while, always on YouTube though, playing blue black here because you think it's better position than Esper. Usually, what I recommend whenever anybody's watching the channel is I would not assume that I'm making like any decisions based off what I think is better at the moment. I'm usually just playing what I kind of feel like playing that day. Um, and it's just not always representative of anything more than that. Okay. Option number 1 Play out the Murktide, hold up Spell Snare. Option number 2, play out the Consider and then Murktide. But the Murktide's not going to be a 2-turn clock, even if I consider. So I'm going to play out the Dragon and hold up Spell Snare. Like that 1 extra power on Murktide doesn't change the clock here. Now, obviously, if they fetch, sure, but I'm not making that play off of an assumption that they're going to fetch. Okay. They just have no 2-mana plays. Are they just all 1-mana burn spells? Like reasonable chance that their entire deck is just 1-mana deal 3 spells. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 7 1-mana, 2 or 3 damage spells, and a Vine Lasher. All right. Technically, Thoughtseizes gain a life here. Let's see. Just the same list. Well, if I get Skelemental, I get Skelemental. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. My buddy plays Black Red Burn. He was not happy to learn I was going to be on Ketramose. Yeah. Bottom, top. Let's go ahead and fatal push this before it starts getting triggers. No! Stop it! Well, this is very much not the same deck I saw game one. Can't convince me otherwise. That's a good draw. Here's a frog, play a land, say. I think I want to. No, I don't care about the clue. Stay back to block. Yep. Hitting needle. I'm pretty sure I have to force this. I think I need to be able to block with the frog. If I fetch and let it resolve, they're just going to name frog. If they have like another spell here to burn me, yeah, then not being able to pump this frog is like a little bit of a death sentence. All right, see what we got. Zeriak coming in with the raid. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome everybody from Zeriak's stream. Do I want a Murktide? I mean, I want a Murktide. Magic Dad, thank you so much for the follow. Oh. I think I've got to keep it. I think I attack in with the frog. See what you're willing to do. That flips the Tameo. which gets me closer to buying back a Fatal Push. Also makes the Merc bigger. Takes away a blocker. I think I'm just casting Merc and passing. I think the blocker is too important. Also gives me a chance to like consider into a Force of Negation. All right. I discard 4. Crack the clue. Discard 5. Frog is up to a 6. Consider 4, 5 on the Murktide is 11. Dead, right? Draw off the clue. Discard 5 to the frog. Make the frog a 6. And I've got 5 spells to eat. Yeah. Oh. Doesn't have reach, does it? Please tell me this doesn't have reach. Okay. On to game 3. Game 3 on the draw. Toxic Deluge is an option. I really don't think this is the burn deck I want Deluge against. Still haven't seen a single 2-mana spell, so I'm not bringing these snares back in. This feud looks significantly worse on the draw. I don't think I want Harbinger, especially on the draw. Do I want a Deluge over a Thoughtseize? All right. Throw away this one. Maybe the real deluge with the friends we made along the way. Opponent kept 7. I think I have to mulligan to a hand with a fatal push. I think I'm just never beating this without a fatal push. Well, I guess we're just destined to never have one. Tamio could potentially soak up some damage. Do like Tamio, Frog, Misty, Merc, Counterspell. What would an ideal 4 look like? 2 lands, Frog, push. Come on, Goblin God. Come on, Goblin God. Dang it. Consider. Go, powered damage sponge. Go, gadget damage sponge. Two more Goblin Guides. Okay, step 1, we can cast a Fatal Push. Huh? In this. Use my mana. They do have a Surveil land, but they have not needed this entire match so far. Yep. Okay. Got a turn to hit him in the face. I'm going to discard the Bowmaster and the Subtlety. And the Murktide. Barbarian ring. No. No. Not like this. There's one extra damage matter. Don't need the second counter spell regardless. Six, 11, 12, 13. So they're not dead. I wonder how many rings they run. One is too many. One is too many. I am ready to get what's the 3-mana one? Exquisite Firecraft. Like uncounterable. I also very much legitimately appreciate my opponent's desire to make me kill them. Like, I can skip through combat and they can top deck something. I respect the min-maxing. Jeez. I guess I need to update the record, a new one. We do have a force and a consider. I think I can do better. This is like the exact same hand. Just a Murktide instead of a force. Opponent's mulliganing to 5. Maybe could have kept the Bowmaster and ditched the second push. But I have no idea what we're up against, so... Good draw. Could be a reasonable draw with this spell snare if they've got a goblin lore here. I'm going to let this go. He said optimistically and then immediately regretted his choice. Okay. I like this more when I thought they might have a burning inquiry. Or not burning inquiry, goblin lore. You know what I mean. That's so much damage if I play that untapped. Need a waste not sideboard tech. Well, we do just have Bowmasters, which if I had kept the Bowmaster in my opening hand, we'd be machine gunning down some stuff. But alas, I did not. My bad. I think I'm passing with the spell snare up instead of playing the Tameo. I still think I just like don't want to get blown out by a goblin lore. Another root wallow. Well, that's pretty close to GG's. Take 4, go to 6. Well, just when all hope seemed lost, our young hero had a potential breakthrough. Really hope this works out. One, two, three. Uh, four upstairs. Do you have an ox in the yard? Opponent said, oh no. I said, I'm sorry. At least opponent was good spirited about it. I'll give him that. I'm sorry, little one. Cameo, little mid. It didn't look like they were playing black, so I doubt they have Bowmasters. Maybe I don't want Deluge, but Surgical is probably good for the Vengevines. Brain Surge might be a little slow. Maybe a Murktide if I'm expecting them to have like Leyline of the Void. Also, You can cry. Can't afford to go down 2 cards on turn 1. Be nice. Very nice. Okay. We see a Vengevine in the yard. I'm gonna wait on this Surgical. Well then. Clearly, we were not the ones that wanted it more. Oh shit, that's a swamp. Didn't know how you cast push. Yeah, so like, I really like this swamp. I like this one, and I really like the one from Kamigawa that looks like a mountain for no reason whatsoever. This one. I understand people not liking them because, oh, it doesn't really look like the land it should be. Why is it out there? I get that. Okay, so I need to respond to this with surgical on the Vengevine and shoot the sheriff on the, it's the flame blade. Please don't have another Veil of Summer. Who hurt you? They're gonna get to discard a Phoenix. I cry. Discard 2 Phoenix. Okay, we'll go to game 3. We'll go to game 3. Triple Veil of Summer there. Why are they on Veil of Summer? Because they hate me. That's why. I'm kind of liking this Deluge plan back on the play. Maybe even the Murktide. I don't really know what over. Spell Snare seems a little mid. Hits Goblin Lore. And I don't feel like it hits much else. But my counter spells, Bowmasters, Forces are good into Goblin Lore. Might not be on lore. We saw lore game 1 because we Bowmastered in response to it and won the game on the spot. I'm going to bring in a Harbinger. A little Harbinger that's going to come in, shut off the green. Keep it. Make you have a tough mulligan decision for once. Yeah, game 1, we top decked a Bowmaster. They played a Goblin Lore. and we flashed in the Bowmaster and got to proceed to shoot down like 2 root wallas, flame blade adept, and I probably should have subtletied that. I hope that doesn't bite me. I just want to play a frog here. On the Bowmasters. I know you're baiting me, but you don't have green mana yet. So I'm really just hoping that they don't have the removal spell for the Bowmaster right here. And I can kill this Flame Blade Adept. Looks like we're going to get 2. If they had played the land first, I probably wouldn't Bowmaster in response to this. Because they can just Veil of Summer my Bowmaster triggers. Or the first one. Or they can respond to the Bowmaster with casting Veil of Summer, and I gotta like target myself. We might get reimbursed for this challenge. A bunch of people dropped in the higher brackets. Buddy of mine mentioned their opponent was disconnected too. I mean, I'm playing on the Daybreak account, so like it doesn't really matter to me if I get reimbursed for it or not. Not that I would just be like adamantly opposed to getting reimbursed for a challenge, but I hate that we can't target this Root Walla. This is a free hollow one. Veil it. Go on, veil it. You'll get to draw a card. There. They should have waited till after the subtlety resolved so they could draw back into the hollow one. But as it is now, this is going to put the hollow one on top of their library because it's not countering it. Love to see it. Here's a 5/5 Orc Army token. Here's a frog. Carry on. But if they had let the subtlety trigger finish resolving, they could have veiled after that, drawn back into the hollow one and played it out. Oh, snap. Let's see. Opponent last seen on Jeskai Control. Leyline Binding, Solitude, Wrath of the Skies. If that's what they're playing here, we could be in some trouble. Oh, the list they played is running some Windswept Heaths. So still could be. Hollowed Fountain, Lorien revealed. Okay. Looks pretty Jeskai Control-y to me. I think opponents causing our lag with their foils. I don't even have foils turned on. What's up with MTGO lag lately? Thought it's caused by my other game being online while playing MTGO. No, it's been straight MTGO. Apparently, they've got a couple like um, suspicions about what's causing it, but I don't think anything for certain. But I've got everything turned off. Sounds off. Foils off. I guess Summoning Sickness wasn't off. I'll probably try to Spell Snare and end of turn Dress Down if they go for one. Need to turn off the game. Also fair. Elegant Parlor. Card on top. Yep. Like hitting lands here because it lets me keep up Sink into Stupor. if I want. All right. Bowmaster's pretty good. Trying to force the issue here. Let's flage into the graveyard. Scoop the match. And handle the raw power of the Orcish Bowmaster. On to the next one. I hate how these lands are like kind of grayed out. Is it looking a little grayed out, like gray washed on gel screen? The steam vents and the hollowed fountain and the flooded strand. Like it wants to be foil, but it's not. Looks like one color. Yeah, it looks like really, really grayed out right where the letters are. The card on top. What would you keep on top in this situation? Their 7 cards v our 7 cards. Reign of Glory. We're hasting a Flage. I believe I would like to respond to this. believe I would like to respond to this too. So Bowmaster is going to resolve, shoot you. If I subtlety this solitude, they're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 off the Bowmaster triggers. And I should be able to just subtlety the Null Drifter and kill him. Because this has got to be consigned to memory for the Null Drifter. Yeah. Subtlety, exile a Murktide. Hiya. 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 Yes, they topped with the Solitude. So if I force this, they have to Solitude the Orc army or they die. I get to resolve a Flage or resolve a Murktide. Don't we surveil first? I don't have another surveil land. All right. Here's a Murktide. Go. Merc dies to a hasty Flage. Well, I'm hoping that based off their previous list, they're only on one Arena of Glory. And that Arena of Glory is currently tapped on the battlefield and not allowing them to haste. He said optimistically. All right. Where they haste the Null Drifter. Yeah, I didn't get that, but I don't play their deck, so I don't want to assume I know the right or wrong decisions for them. What do we got on their side? Why is everybody on Orum's chant? Everybody and their mother is playing Orum's chant. I feel like I missed something. They do have a verdict, dispute, force, surgical, scolding, chant. Subtlety looking a little mid against a deck with just like 3 main deck consigned to memories. Probably fine. Two plains, no mountains. I'm bringing in the surgicals because their entire threat base is like 4 Flage, 4 Solitude, 4 Null Drifter, and that's it. So as soon as you take out like the Flages and the Null Drifters, they just can't win. Fetch land sitting there for the Annihilator 1. And I had nothing else to do with it. Might as well sack it. Okay. Turn 1, Tomato. Turn 2, Counterspell or Still on something. They do have 3 copies of Galvanic Discharge. So they should be able to answer this Tameo fairly easily. Unless they boarded them out because they were expecting them to be not very good. Take out all Murktides. I don't know if I want to get rid of like one of my only threats. What is this? Bro. This right here is why Moto's lagging. That right there is the entire reason Moto's lagging. The ugliest thing I've ever seen? Exactly. So bad. This Island of Brass. Island of Ass. Got him. What do we think? Are we windmill slamming a Harbinger and just saying you got to deal with it? I think now we definitely are. Stern scolding. Okay. Starting to believe the Murktide only loses to Breach if you mold to 6 into 4. I feel like this is you trying to tell us something. Like you just lost a Breach. Okay. What? Come again? You have got my 2 Tamios. They're gone. We'll never get them back. How dare you make me feel things? Are we going for another Harbinger, or do I want to just play out the Spell Bomb? Feel too bad just getting another counter spell out of hand. You got it. I know I could subtlety my own Harbinger and put it back on top, but I think I'd rather just save it for something more impactful. Scalding Tarn into the graveyard. Okay. Frog is gone. Hard cast the Lorien revealed. Effect. Dispute Discharge. And they do have the ability to kill my Murktide, which is super lame. I don't appreciate that. All right, so now we're sitting on subtlety. I want to go for Spellbomb, draw a card. Let me go Spellbomb, draw a card. Rewarded. Line binding. Take that. Play out our Murktide. Conveniently, one bigger than this galvanic discharge can currently deal with. Hope it stays that way. Was Merc plus counter last turn bad given the info? It wasn't bad. I just kind of didn't want to deal with if they had Solitude is one of like their 2 unknown cards. I don't think the chances were great. It just wasn't something I felt like I needed to deal with. I could afford to like wait a turn. They weren't doing anything. You know what I mean? I think I do want a free subtlety. Maybe. Yeah, I do. I'm going to start sacking lands if they attack with this Null Drifter anyway, so... block here so that I'm winning the race with Murktide now. Flip mana first. Flip mana first, change phases, lose mana. Repeat. Profit. Am I firing off the Bowmaster? Probably not. I feel like need another land. Leaves me kind of in risk to a lot. Now I am attacking. I know they have the discharge, but the hand for free. Well, it's not completely for free, right? It does cost some life. Let's go surgical the null drifters. Take a look. Counterspell surgical wrath. So they can counterspell me back, which means I don't want to counterspell this because I don't want them to surgical my counterspells right now. That would be bad. Solitude. Okay. I mean, are we doing that? Goes counterspell. Top deck to Flage. No. No. Yeah, we win pretty easy if we're not short on lands there. What looked really awkward? That was game 2. I think I'm just going to cut the surgicals. Or do I want to cut the subtleties? Well, snares for dress down and counter spell on their side. Probably is an argument for consign. Don't really know what I'm cutting against them. That's my big issue here is I don't know what I want to do post board. I'd say I do bring out the snares. Bowmaster isn't great into the deck with 4 null drifters, 4 dress down, or not the 4 dress down, the Lorien revealed, tune with Aethers, and it's an instant speed flash threat. I think Bowmaster is really good against them. Want frog, but I want land more. That's got to be like an automatic. I have a ley line binding. Really throw that one back, unfortunately. Solitude, null drifter, leyline binding, counterspell. Take the null drifter, or take. I do have the consign. I could use that to answer the null drifter. I could take a solitude. Discharge. They want to waste binding on a Bowmaster. You're up in the exchange. They're never going to waste binding on a Bowmaster. Like, no chance of that one. Well, we're going to see how far this Bowmaster gets. Theoretically, opponent's got to do something into it eventually. Kept a card on top. Double target the 3 damage. Solitude and a Wrath gone. Get down to 1. Cast Spell Bomb. Free crack on this deal. Do have another Solitude. I think I just pass. I get both Solitudes taken care of? Ah, guess I did. I don't even remember dealing with the second one. Discharge Tameo. I don't even remember. What happened to the second one? Oh, they hard cast one. That's what it was. Never mind. Yeah, we're on to top 8. And black, white, blink. There's flashing freaking sign, catcher mode, no frog. Opening hand's fine. Gotta run. Will this be on YouTube? Yeah, this will be on YouTube. We're going through Mississippi next week. For what? Nobody goes through here. We're land mass. All right, so it looks based off of their last trophy league list that they're not on vials. Was there November for a wedding? It was in Oxford. Oxford's a pretty good place for events. No lie. Drive to Florida 3 times a year from Missouri. Love that drive. That is a pretty nice drive. All right, I'm getting Felia vibes. Much as I love tomato, I don't think it's quite what I need right now. That is what I need. Let's see if our intuition was right about this Felia. Insert target young dingo. Oh no, my dog. All right, so I can subtlety this. I don't know if that's something I'm really interested in doing. I think I'd rather just let this resolve and go for flashing in a Bowmaster. Kind of going down multiple cards seems a little rough right here. Yeah, this is top 8. None two. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having an awesome evening so far. Appreciate you coming around and hanging out. Another Belia. Well, might have been a greedy subtlety, but this is absolutely a way we lose if they've got the ephemerate too. Yeah. Well, we took a gamble. Gamble did not pay off. I was really making that play based off of the hope that they didn't have everything right there. Like, I think the only thing that punishes me that turn is that full combination, like flash in the Ketrios or Ketramos, um, not flash in the Ketramos, flash in the second Felia, have the Solitude, have the white card, have the Ephemerate. I think it's a correct play. I never tend to play around them having it all. I don't think you can afford to play around them having it all. Like, here, if they've got another ephemerate for this Solitude and draw another card, like, what am I doing into that? I know I've got a Murktide on top. It's dead. I just cannot beat that. So, not a big reason to play around it. All right, Surgical Thought Seize. Deluge, I'm a little bit lower on, but I get it. Force is pretty bad. Trim on snare. I probably need to keep in Deluge because they do have Ketchermos. Board out a cantrip. Probably board out the brain surge, but I figure it's like the higher upside cantrip. So we're gonna pass, and I'm gonna surgical the overlords on their draw step. Solitude, push, Felia. Enchanters 1. Next step, find an answer to Felia. On. Big coward. I think I want that. Why not play out the Bowmaster? It's not getting better because they're not attacking because of the Bowmaster. Like, they have to respect me just flashing in Bowmaster and killing off Felia. A little bit better for them now because they can afford to attack in and have Solitude and Fatal Push. Roller's fine. I can solid or surgical go after the ephemerates. Because, like, I'm not upset if they go push Solitude Witch Enchanter to deal with my Bowmaster. But if they also have an Ephemerate, that's pretty rough. Or I could just Brain Surge. We'll try to get everything. We did have the Ephemerate. All right, so they're gonna go Solitude, Solitude, Solitude Blink, Solitude Blink. Okay. I don't think my position in here is bad. You need a little help. But I could, like, double Bowmaster down the Solitude. I could play a land, attack, and try to ambush on combat. Probably seems like the best play. Assuming they didn't draw another copy of Ephemerate. They have the Fatal Push. So what if I go... Let this resolve. They attack. I double ping whatever they try to blank.
No.
Need a push for this Felia. Like, this stupid dog is just single-handedly wrecking me here. What's in the sideboard for black-white for Torpor Orb? I think like March of Otherworldly Light and Wrath the Skies and stuff like that. So I think my out is finding the Toxic Deluge off the top. You're about 27 turns too late. I think I gotta bottom this. Just like if it's not Toxic Deluge, it's not doing anything for me. You're also about 17 turns too late. Hmm. Had another ephemerate. Okay. Okay. Rough one. Yeah, I feel like we had a good bit of tools, not necessarily to beat that matchup, but to make it more competitive than we did. And didn't see them. Like, if we'd seen a fatal push or a shoot earlier for the Felia, I could have surgicaled the ephemerates after I surgicaled the Balemerc, and that would have mattered. But like getting that far into game 2 and not seeing a consign, not seeing a fatal push, a shoot the sheriff, a subtlety, like just a lot of stuff we needed to see. How many black white blink decks did you beat this challenge? We didn't run into it until then. The rest of the challenge was like blue white control, Jeskai control, blue white hammer, red black burn, Esper frog, Neobrand, hollow one, all over the place until top 8, and that's when we run into the blank. Yeah, it was a weird one. Let's see. Matchup seems very hard if you need to 0 for 1 yourself with surgical and a mid-range mirror. It's doable with the 0 for 1 yourself if you hit Solitude and Balemerk like explicitly. But if you don't hit those, it gets a lot rougher really, really quick. You think Black White Blink is a good or bad matchup? Oh, it's terrible. It is a horrendous matchup for us. The last data spreadsheet was like 27% or something. That's the way it goes sometimes. So we are going to call it there. I'm going to send everybody over to BFG, who won the challenge with almost the same list yesterday. So if you got questions about Dimir Murktide in general, probably a good place to check out. Dropping some links in chat for the Twitter, the Blue Sky, the YouTube, and the Discord. If you want to come chat about the deck or anything else you got going on, maybe help out with your RC prep if you're planning on playing a frog deck of some variety. Other than that, hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your evening. Stay safe. Enjoy some good food and company. I will catch y'all back live later. Adios for now.